Resident Evil 7 is a survival horror game that was developed by Capcom. It moved away from its action-oriented gameplay and returned to the original style of gameplay that focuses on exploration, item management, and puzzle solving. As Ethan Winters, the player has to search for their missing wife in a plantation home while trying to survive the horrors they'll encounter within. In this video, I've managed to put together as many Easter eggs, references, and any other points of interest that I could find. And if you do enjoy what you see, subscribe so you can stay up to date on all future content I put up. Now it's time once again to enter the world of survival horror. So starting off with the game title itself, Capcom decided to give Resident Evil the subtitle Biohazard, that fans will know is the Japanese title for the Resident Evil series. But did you know that the Japanese subtitle for the game is called Resident Evil, which is an interesting way to link both Japanese and Western title releases. Ethan's wife, Mia Winters, shares similar things to Mia Allen from the 2013 version of Evil Dead. Apart from having the same name, both women are possessed by a malevolent force, try to kill the ones they love, and even survive their traumatic ordeal in the end. In the intro cutscene, Ethan is seen driving through Louisiana toward the Baker's home. The camera view of this scene shows similarities to the 1980 movie The Shining, where the characters are seen driving along another quiet road at the start of the film. The car Ethan drives at the start, then later seen in the garage, is based on the 1970 Dodge Challenger, a vehicle seen in a few movies, like the cult classic film Vanishing Point. The van Ethan finds at the start of gameplay might be a subtle nod to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where the 5 characters at the start of the movie drive a van that will eventually lead them to a supposedly abandoned house where they discover a deranged family who tried to kill them, like what Ethan experiences with the Baker family. On the side of the van is a Simply Gone logo that appears before the game's main menu and during the end credits, and it's a 3D computer graphics software that Capcom used to help them in their level designs. Further inspection inside the van, you can find a project proposal paperwork, with the missing crew on the picture, but turn it around and you can read the words "Join us." Though it does link to the game's plot with Evelyn's want of growing her family, it is also a homage to the Evil Dead series, as the words are often used by the demons. A horror trope that's used in many horror films can be seen before entering the guest house for the first time, as there's a swing chair nearby, and it's usually seen in a build-up toward a horror event, where a person or a group walk by one of these as they approach an old building, similar to the one seen outside the cabin Ash and his friends stay in, or the swing chair in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The segment where you can control one of the crew members of sewer gators as they explore the seemingly abandoned house is inspired by the Capcom survival horror game Sweet Home, which is about a group of filmmakers in a similar event and was the main influence behind the creation of Resident Evil back in 1996. At the end of the videotaping, the cameraman goes down to the basement and finds Andre facing the wall. This is inspired by a similar found footage event that happens at the end of the Blair Witch Project. Although it's a scripted scene where Ethan gets his hand sawn off, you're not required to take the severed hand as you go to the attic, but some may not have realised that you can collect it and study it in the item menu. When Ethan awakens at the table, we're introduced to the Baker family, and there's an old woman in a wheelchair that we don't even know if she's alive. This is heavily based on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, with a similar introduction of the whole family, including an old man we're not even sure is alive. In the living room, you can find a book inside a cardboard box that you can inspect. The book is called The Unveiled Abyss by Clive R. O'Brien, who fans will know is from RE Revelations. He was the director of the BSAA before his retirement in the end of that game. According to Capcom writer Morimasa Sato, Jack Baker was inspired by the character Jack Torrance from The Shining. Not only do they share the same name, but both characters were good family husbands before some evil force turned them into crazed killers. During Jack Baker's initial hunt for Ethan, a unique event can happen if you time it right. If Jack is aware of where Ethan is and sees him just about to enter the trapdoor, he'll cut one of Ethan's legs off and taunt him, before allowing Ethan to heal up his severed leg to begin the hunt again. In the main hall, there's a painting showing the Arklay Mountains, which was the setting for several of the earlier RE titles. To get out the back door requires 3 dog head figurines that represent the Greek mythological creature Cerberus. This was also the code word for the BOWs encountered in the first game. A newspaper article called the Dolby Daily was written by Alyssa Ashcroft, who was a survivor of Raccoon City in the RE Outbreak games. As a side note, there's a title here that says, "Over 20 missing in 2 years", and an interesting bit of detail, you can see that one of the Bakers wrote "more on the way", showing that the Bakers, under Evelyn's influence, are responsible for the missing people. There are plenty of book titles to see throughout the game, but 2 of these stand out as a reference to other Capcom games. Wartime photojournalism may be a Dead Rising reference, as the protagonist, Frank West, is a photojournalist who claimed to have done war photography. Another book called Fighting Street is a reference to Street Fighter. The name was taken from the PC port of the very first game. In the second floor corridor, by the bathroom door, are some record albums on a table that are from the Dead Rising games. These were just a few of the many albums found in the fictional store called Players. In the bathroom itself, you have to drain the water in the bathtub to get a game progression item. This homages the first game, as players could acquire keys or ammunition in various bathtubs. Another RE1 reference can be found in the main hall, where you have to swap the broken shotgun with the real one, or the player will be trapped in a locked room. In the second boss battle with Jack, he says the word groovy when he picks up a weapon, which is a word Ash uses in Evil Dead 2.
Groovy! Let's start groovy.
Old Evelyn can be seen appearing at certain places around the Baker's home. On a closer look, you'll notice her head slowly turns to follow you. But perhaps the most creepy moment happens when returning from the basement. After the battle with Jack, you'll hear Evelyn humming to herself, then stops when you're close by. When you go down the hall, Evelyn continues to hum. What some people might have missed is that if you return to Evelyn instead of leaving the hallway, she inexplicably vanishes. If the Baker's main house has a Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe, then the old house has an Evil Dead one, as Ethan is pursued by Marguerite the whole time, that eventually leads to a boss battle with her. It's a horrific encounter, as like in the Evil Dead movies, Marguerite goes through a bunch of gruesome body transformations, and even sounds like something demonic in the films.
slumber. You will die like the others before you. One by one we will take you.
On the return to the main house, going up into the attic, you can find in a corner a renovation contract. This is the same George Trevor who was the architect of the Spencer Mansion, and after he and his family's deaths in the 60s, his designs live on, as we see in the cruise liners in Revelations and the Baker's home. There are many framed paintings on the walls throughout the main house, and there are some even morbid pictures that are still somewhat normal to see in real life paintings, such as images of skulls. But it's this image that I found in Grandma's room, and again in the master bedroom, that's a little disturbing. It shows a pair of hanging legs, and it's like something out of a Silent Hill game. Once Ethan reaches the testing area of the house, he has to deal with Lucas Baker and his series of gruesome traps. This is inspired by the Saw franchise, and there's even an evil looking dummy similar to the Jigsaw puppet. Just before starting Lucas's death trap game, Ethan has to enter the right codes on the keypad. The sound effects used for this is from the RE3 Nemesis game. When playing as Mia on the ship, there's an article on a table you can inspect that mentions the Raccoon City incident. In the final boss battle, Ethan is assisted by Chris Redfield as he drops a powerful weapon from the Umbrella Chopper for Ethan to use. A similar event happens at the end of RE1, when Brad Vickers drops from the Star's chopper a powerful weapon to Chris Redfield to destroy the Tyrant. After completing the game on any difficulty and then starting a new playthrough, you'll receive the most powerful handgun in the game called Albert, which is based on the Samurai's Edge pistol and is a reference to Albert Wesker, who most will know was Chris Redfield's arch-enemy. Hey everyone, thanks for watching if you've made it this far, and I hope you enjoyed it. Up next I'll be doing Resident Evil 8, so if you're interested and haven't yet subscribed, it will be a big help for the channel. If you did like this video, you can check out all my other Easter egg videos that I'll link you to at the end of this. And once again, a big thanks to all of you who have subbed and are helping to make this channel grow. As I have only one RE game left to do, I'm already planning on doing some other big titles. One of them will be Red Dead Redemption 2. I think that'll be a bit too long for one video, so I'll split that up into several parts, and I'll be doing some more Tomb Raider games shortly. So until the next video, bye everyone.